Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
It's live.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
All right. Greetings and welcome to Live Talk. I am your host, Author Yeremyah, alongside my two co-hosts, Minister Samuel.
Welcome back.
And spiritual ambassador, Ezekiel.
Peace. Good afternoon.
All right. And before we go to anything, let's go to our general statement and disclaimer.
General statement. Live Talk is proudly powered by TBS Goodwill, Builders of the Highway Foundation, and Men of Purpose. Together, we're bringing about awareness to the everyday challenges facing individuals, communities, and our nation. We tell our stories, listen to yours, and always respect different perspectives. Want to share your voice? Email us at livetalkorl@gmail.com to be a guest, or if you would like to contribute to our mission, purpose, go to livetalkorl.com to give a donation. Disclaimer. Information provided during this event and others to come does not constitute the official opinion of Live Talk or its affiliate entities. It is strongly recommended that viewers seek independent expert advice regarding any topics discussed, as legal requirements differ significantly across jurisdictions and are subject to frequent changes. If you have questions or concerns, you can always email us at livetalkorl@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Facebook and or Instagram at Live Talk Orlando.
All right. We have to get that out of the way. My brothers, how are you doing?
Everything is well these days. Just daily basking in bliss.
All right. And Minister.
Always good to be back. It's a Saturday morning, top of the morning, top of the day. Always want to make it a good day. Keep it moving forward.
Absolutely. And I just say I'm living a dream, but conscious though at the same time. All right. And just for our listening audience, we're just going to give you a rundown of the show today. First, we're going to have the minister word of today. Right after that, we'll go to a short commercial break. And then we'll come back with our main topic. Our main topic today is debt, dollars, and dreams. So get ready for that. It's going to be a hot topic. And then after that, we'll go to another commercial break. And then we'll come back and see what's on our brother Ezekiel mind, spiritual ambassador. And then after that, we'll get ready to close out with either a motivational quote or reading from the host. So with no further ado, Minister, what is the word of today?
Our word of today is going to be materialism. And materialism is defined as a tendency to consider material possessions, physical comfort, as more important than spiritual values. Materialism is a doctrine that the only or highest values or objectives lie in material well-being and in the furtherance of material progress. Materialism is a preoccupation with or stress upon material rather than intellectual or spiritual things. Some synonyms of materialism are commercialism, greed, possessiveness, and covetousness, as well as grabbing. And our quote for today is going to be that the best things in life aren't just things. And that is our word for today.
All right, my brother, I thank you for that word of today. I'm pretty sure we're going to be mentioning that a lot today. So thank you again for that word of today. We're going to go to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
At NOY Store, we bring culture, style, and wellness all in one place. Explore our collection of cultural apparel designed to inspire and connect. From t-shirts to polos, boldly tell your story. Need guidance on your journey? Check out our books written to inspire and support your spiritual, personal, and community growth. And give your body the care it deserves with our health and wellness products like natural toothpaste, soothing body butters, and more. We're always adding new products to empower your life so you can live with purpose and style. Visit noystore.com today, where culture, wellness, and inspiration come together. Shop at NOY Store. What do all these people have in common besides a beautiful smile, healthy teeth, and gums? They all use Zadi toothpaste. Zadi toothpaste is made with all natural ingredients. Zadi toothpaste is fortified with moringa and baking soda. Zadi toothpaste is suds-free, making it an excellent choice for kids. All natural, fortified, and suds-free. Get yours today at noystore.com.
All right, welcome back. And today, our last show, we started this topic about consumerism, and we wanted to continue that today. And we do have an audience questioner today, and that should be popping up soon. We're gonna put that in the chat. But the audience questioner today, so you'll just know it, is what's a realistic path to financial freedom in a consumer-driven culture? What's a realistic path to financial freedom in a consumer-driven culture? All right, so that's our audience questioner today. You should see that popping up in the chat soon. But if you do grasp that and you got it, we do want you to comment on that as well, and we're going to come back to that. All right, so welcome back again to the show. Today we will be talking about something most of us don't want to talk about, and that's debt. Credit cards, student loans, car notes, you name it. But behind those numbers are stories about survival, pressure, and systematic inequalities. With me today, as always, is the minister and the ambassador, and we're going to unpack a lot of this information today. And we're going to talk about, the silent barriers in the Black community and the pursuit of American dream. So we're going to be talking about that today. So stick with us. Like I say, that question should be coming up in the chat. We want you to answer that question. We want to come back to that. That's your engagement for today. But brothers, are you ready? So we got a lot of questions coming in. So we're going to be tossing these questions around, and we're going to be discussing these questions today. And the first question that came in, matter of fact, Ambassador, this question is for you, and we're going to toss it around. But why is debt so normalized in a Black community, even celebrated in some cases?
Well, when you look historically at Black people in America, we have always been a downtrodden people. Therefore, when we came into the ability to start making money on our own, we looked at what other cultures, what other nations, what other ethnicities had materialistic wise, and we decided that's what we wanted. This is why from the 50s and 60s, we went to the Cadillacs. That was supposed to be prestige if you was ride around in that. So when we went to acquiring these type of vehicles, this type of materialism. Yet our income wasn't sufficient for that right there. Therefore, we started taking on debt. And then with the invention of the credit card, which allows us to spend money without seeing it, it was even easier to get in debt because we had that mindset that I can purchase this now and pay for it later. But later never comes up. Something always gets in the way. So now that debt has become perpetual in our life. And then we need more things, more materialism, more different cars, different latest fashion of clothes that come out. And my validation of who and what I am in the community is predicated on how I dress or what I'm riding in. Because the moment somebody see your ride, they put you in a particular financial bracket. They see I'm riding in the hoopty, they think I'm broke. I pull up in the Lambo, they think I'm rich. So we understand that we will go into debt trying to look the part of the lifestyle that we want. And it's celebrated because everybody see you ride around with a nice car or dressing in a nice way and thinking that, hey, he's arrived, he's made it. I've reached the American dream. This is what it is. But they're not able to see the bank accounts and to see the debt and the strain that they're putting on themselves and their family by purchasing these materialistic items that are outside of their budget. And as I said, when I'm riding through, everybody, oh, look at him. I get the oohs, the ahs, the accolades, and the kudos for the materialism that I got. Therefore, I want more. And then you have the younger generation seeing me with this, and they thinking that they want the exact same thing. However, not understanding the struggle that I put myself in debt-wise to acquire this materialism. And it has become routine for us. You have guys that's living in the hood with, $100,000 cars, but you still living in the project, still living in the slum. You didn't take that money and put it in something that would generate more money for you. You put it in nuts and bolts that's going to depreciate every time you get behind the wheel. So we have to break this rut that we're in that's keeping us financially at the bottom of civilization in America. We look at other communities that come in, we look at, the foreigners, the Haitians, Cubans. These people come into America, pool their resources, ride around in the raggediest cars, wear the raggediest clothes, we picking at them, but they're invested in their future. They're not sacrificing the future for the present. They're looking at the long-term gain. And then weeks, months later, years later, they got their own communities. They're generating income in their communities. So-called Black people haven't done that yet. We may have a mom and pop business here or a business there, but we don't own the community. But we're buying, selling, and trading from among ourselves. Still got to go outside of ourselves for the necessary day-to-day needs. So it has become celebrated to be broke but look rich.
Minister, you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, he said it. It's just to point out that because it was normalized. Mm-hmm. We weren't educated that it was a bad thing. You were actually taught that it was an okay thing. So it became normal.
I agree. I think a lot of our youth, and we're going to talk about this and get deeper into conversation. But I remember when I first got my first credit card, I felt like I hit the jackpot. Felt like it was my money. And see, and a lot of times that's how we think. Okay, you just got approved for $20,000 on a credit card. No, it's a credit card. That means you spend it, you pay for it. It don't mean that it's your money. And I think that's the normalization side of it. We normalize that that's our money. Now we feel like we're balling, to your point. All right. Great.
It's a loan. That's debt.
Right. Right. All right. So as the questions come in, all right, our next question here is, how does buying Black fit into financial liberation? And Minister, that's going to go your way.
So buying black, and when we say buying black, it not only will support an individual like black business, but it contributes to creating and supporting black jobs, which in turn benefits black families, which benefits the community and its economics as a whole. So the more we spend in the community, the more we provide for black investment opportunities in those same communities and its people. And they, just to make that more clear, when we say buying black, and there has kind of been a movement now of buying black, which I'm very happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be like very cognizant of it. Because like, as my brother pointed out, other communities, other nations of people, like Cubans, even Haitians, Jamaicans, Mexicans, Asians, whatever the community, it's normal for them. They're taught to automatically spend with their own people. So we do it right now. To me, it seems, some get it, but it's kind of trendy. So it's a trend, but the buying black has to be like when we truly begin to buy black, like, see, if I buy from you and I support you on a regular basis in whatever your business is, now you can hire somebody to push that business. That creates a paycheck for not only you, but the people that you employ. That feeds the children at home from that business. And then they begin to spend with his business. So it supports not only him, but his employees, his wife, his children. And it creates a circle. So it can't be like, right now, some people say it and I hear it and it seems like it's a trend. And whenever we can spend black, I want to continue to spend black. Like I've heard people say they do these flash mobs and they'll go like just dump a whole lot. That's a great thing. You benefited that business. But if we do that just one time, if you did that one time a year, okay, you helped that business out one time that year. But businesses need regular income every day, every week, every month. Buying black is about institutionally spending our money within our community as much as possible. And it has to be second nature. When that happens, then we have the opportunity to truly raise ourselves up. But because as soon as we take that dollar out of our community, we're enriching another community. And we're literally taking food off the table from ourselves.
So buying black allows you, as he just elaborated on, to create jobs in your community, which means more money in the community, which means less people having to go out and commit crimes to get money. Because if I got a steady paycheck coming in, then I'm less inclined to go out and do some type of illegal activity to bring that same paycheck home. So you're not only helping the community, you're not only helping those employees, but you may be helping yourself because you may be the victim of me robbing you, getting that money to go back and feed my family. So think of it that way, if nothing else, that you're helping yourself. Because if I can feed my children and now my son has a job, my son has principles, my son has ethics. Now when he meets your daughter, he's more inclined to treat her in a better manner. So we have to begin to buy, and everybody knows charity begins at home. I hear so many people, within the last 18 months, they were upset and irate with the government for sending all that money off to other countries. And they're like, hey, man, we need this money in our community. But when wars break out, you're funding these people over here. But when the war on poverty in our communities has never went anywhere, you're not funding us. You're actually cutting back on us. And just like we were saying last month about the government when they was cutting back on the EBTs, but you'll spend trillions of billions in a war across the water, but you don't want to have that charity at the house. So you create your own charity. When we begin to spend our money amongst ourselves right here, now we have a community pool. Now the food banks, the churches, and anybody else will have the food or necessary resources for anybody that may need it who fall on hard times. I can go down to this spot right here and get some aid because they got it. But if we're not pooling our resources, then they're not going to be able to extend their hands to anybody. Shelters and all those places are going to close down. Now you're going to have people out here, again, survival instinct. They're going to do whatever they can to survive. And you may be on the wrong end of that right there.
No, I mean, to both of your points, we look at our community now. That's why I always say identify our community. I mean, we stay there, but we own it. We own anything in the community. Like even the stores that we go to, is the person that you're going into that store look like you? Chances are they don't look like you. And it's nothing against any other culture and nationality. It's just understanding the importance of us building that financial liberation, like we're talking about, freeing ourselves. And so when that person, I done seen it happen where African-American or Black person would open up a store and then we go in there and rob them, take from them. How would you do that? and these are the type of things that happen, but you let another nationality come into there, you go in there and try to rob them, they're going to shoot you dead. So, and then we'll help them. But we don't help ourselves. So it's important that we, pool our resources and buy from one another, because that, financial liberation is very important, man. And I think we have to identify that in our community and support those that can, open up a business and get behind them. If we do a co-op, we talk about co-ops all the time.
Yep.
I don't care, the EBT, like, hey, I want to contribute this much to your store. Just purchase it for me, give it back to me. Your family make money. We get what we need. We take care of our family here. We feed our family. So there's many ways that we can be, liberating ourselves by buying from one another right in our community. If we, take the time out to think about, some of the things that are going on, especially in other, culture and nationalities and how they're doing. So, no, that's great points, my brothers. And which leads me to the next question. I think that comes in to me. This one is, why do you think consumer debt disproportionately impacts Black families? Consumer debt. First, let's comprehend that it has nothing to do with individual choices. It starts with the racial wealth gap. And we know for generations, Black families have been denied the chance to build wealth through redlining and, job discrimination and unequal access to credit. And as I was thinking about this question, I just thought about, it's the holiday time, and, around Christmas, we wouldn't dare allow our children to go without any gifts for Christmas. I don't care how bad Ray Ray was all throughout the year. Ray Ray was a knucklehead. But Ray Ray won a PlayStation 5. He won all these things. And when you go in that store and you're looking at your income, you don't have the money to get Ray Ray all this stuff. But guess what the little happy ladies say? You can apply for a credit card. Oh, I can. Let's try it and see how it works out. You apply for it, you get accepted for it at a expeditious, like a incredibly high rate. Do you care? You got enough money to get Ray Ray what he wants and everybody else what they want. Regardless of you going into debt the whole year to pay it off, just to come back and go into debt. This is what happened in a lot of our Black communities. But with the same, let's step out. Let's step out. Now you tell our white counterparts, they go into the store. They're dealing with the same situation. They may have assets in the bank to pay for whatever they need, but they're offered the same credit card at a lower rate, maybe 6 months or a year, no interest. You see the difference? They're not going into financial debt. They're able to take that credit card. They're able to get no interest for 6 months to a year because they'll be able to pay it off. And they can get little Billy what he needs for Christmas. That's the disproportionate side of it, where we're treated unequal to our counterparts, because now we're in dire situations and we take this high interest rate where our counterparts don't have to do that. And this is what has been going on, and this is why we're behind the 8 ball, and they got 100 years on us. Will we have some comments coming in? All right, give it to us. You looking at the same thing, Minister?
Astro theme. I'm thinking that must have been a hashtag.
What's the question or the comment?
I can read. It says people also have debt because typically, due to low or poor credit scores, the interest on the loan is very high, as lending to lower scores come with the risk. And that's an excellent point, because that goes to the initial point of debt being normalized. Like you say, you get that first credit card. If no one has educated you on credit or on debt, in most cases, people charge them up because you think it's your money.
Right.
You got to pay it back. You don't pay it back, or you pay the minimums. If it goes into default, it affects your credit. So the next time you apply, they may give you one, but it's going to be a higher interest. So you buy something and it costs you 3 or 4 times that it will cost someone with good credit. Like you say, if they give them 6 months, they'll pay it off no interest.
Right.
You pay it off in 24 months with astronomical interest.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you to come on back.
Right.
We'll do it again.
Oh, they'll be back. Christmas coming right back around. I think that's how they trap us, with a lot of these holidays, because we feel that we have to have finer things, like you alluded to earlier. We feel like we have to have the finer thing, So when it talks about consumer debt in Black communities, we're talking about history, policy, and systems, not personal failure, because we have to understand that we have went through a lot in this country to get where we are today. And even where we are today, we still behind the 8 ball, So these are some things that we have to consider, because they have given us a lot. When we talk about, and I can't talk about enough about the holiday, because that's what gets us in debt. Because we work all year to get out of debt just to come back and get right back in debt. I'll stop there. You can see you want to chime in.
I mean, like the question said, if you're already in a low income situation, yet you need help, so you're going to go and purchase something or get a loan at an exorbitant interest rate. And most people don't even understand how the interest works. The people may tell you, we give you this credit card at 23 APR. You don't realize that if this car is $20,000 and you paying 22, 23 APR, you're going to end up paying almost $40,000 for that car. That's depreciating every time you get behind the wheel. But you need a car right now. So some people be stuck in certain places to where you're forced by default because of your condition to have to take these high interest rates. And these companies are banking on that. And as you said, this system is set up to put you in a position to be able to stay in a low income mindset, all the way from the education to everything that's being laid out on a financial level for and targeted at our communities, like we said before. And it's going to keep you in that perpetual cycle where you're going to stay with a low credit score and super high interest rates. And you can never get out of that, because once you get that purchase, now the cycle has started. And as you say, as the year goes on, they got a holiday every year or every month. And every month you're going to have to get something. So it's always some type of manner in which you're spending money that's going to cause you to stay in debt at high interest rates. And the moment you get behind, now they tell the credit union, hey, such and such missed a payment. Such and such was late on the payment. What? Oh yeah, credit just dropped. Boom. So now you back on trying to get another high interest rate because your credit keep falling.
And then we don't have assets like a counterpart that we can go and grab from, because a lot of times when it comes to credit and building credits, we don't know how to do that. And it can be simple if you just had something, because we don't accumulate nothing. It makes it difficult. All right. We'll go to our next question, and I'm going to come back your way, Ezekiel. What's the link between consumer culture and financial instability?
Well, it's like we already been espousing on. The consumer culture. A consumer is one that buys and trades goods or services. So when you have a culture, you have a normalized way of acting, thinking, or behavior. So you're saying that the so-called black man and woman of America's culture is to be consumers, meaning all we doing is working for a paycheck, getting the paycheck, and going to spend the money on the products we need to survive daily. We are not the producers. We're not the creators. We're not the innovators of these same products. Because I can go out and I can solicit my friends to, hey, let's pool our resources and let's go buy a cow. We can take that cow, we can skin him, and we can make some shoes from that cow. Instead of calling it Nike or Reebok, we'll create our own brand. That cow is not going to say, hey, since you ain't the Nike company, you can't get my hide. The cow don't care who gets the hide. He rather keep the hide, but he doesn't care who gets it once you slaughter him. So if we can become producers, then we can get out of the debt mindset. But the problem is it has become a culture. It has become a way of thinking. It's a mindset. It's the mentality that we have to purchase things. We have to buy things. It don't dawn on us that, hey, if we get a cow, we can go milk him, and now we ain't got to go buy milk. We got our own milk. We get to go. We got our own milk. We become our own producers. And then, matter of fact, I can mass produce this milk because my family only needs a gallon a day, but my cow producing 10 gallons a day. So now I can sell it to my friends, to people in my community at a cheaper price than Walmart or these brand stores buying it. So the culture has to be changed. That's the first step. We have to identify that, hey man, we are in a debt mindset. And when we look around, it ain't just me. It's my community. Nationwide, not just in Tampa, Miami, or Orlando. This is nationwide. Any black community you go to across America, this is the mindset. This is what makes it a culture amongst us. When you're thinking culture, you're thinking the way of people dress, the foods they eat. If I say, okay, pizza, Italian, tacos, Mexican. This is their cultural foods. Black people, chicken, watermelon. This is our culture food. Right. So now our cultural materialistic is being in debt to get the Prada, the Gucci, the Tommy. We going into debt. and it leads to financial instability because I just spent this money on these clothes or this car or the purchase of this house, but now I don't have the money to cover the basic bills. So now certain things that got to get eliminated, certain things that got to get eradicated. We used to eat 3 times a day. Now we only eat once a day in the house. So we had to cut back on it. We used to take trips. Now we can only go one place a week because we had to cut back on the gas. So you begin to cut back on the essentials in order to get something that's temporary, because we know fashion changes monthly. We know that cars got maintenance bills. They're going to give out, and you're eventually going to need a new car. So the instability has led into the Johnny only eat once a day. So now his belly full when he go to school, he's not as attentive because his mind on, I need something to eat. He ain't getting the brain food, so he's not thinking. Now the teacher say, oh, he don't pay attention. He's sleeping, he's drowsy. Now they want to put him on some type of drugs. Now when he's on this drug, they show enough messing up his mind. So, and you got to pay for them drugs every time he need a new prescription. So it's a cycle that we have to get out of the consumer mentality. We got to learn how to become producers in order for our financial stability to begin to rise in our communities, which again will lessen the chances of us committing some type of crimes just to be able to eat. Because if I'm hungry, don't be mad when I ride past your house and snatch the pork chop off your grill. As you chasing me down the street as I'm biting and chewing and running. But I'm hungry. Even the book tell you don't despise the thief when he's hungry. So we have to put ourselves in a better position to be financially stable as individuals, as well as community, as well as a nation.
You want to add to that, Minister?
That was powerful. And one of the last points I'll just say, by being a producer, the consumer culture we were only taught to be. We think it's normal and natural to consume. And it's okay to consume, but the balance is you should also be producing. In our community, we do very little or no producing, and we do the maximum consuming. That means the maximum is going out, but the minimum is coming back in. So you get in a life cycle of consumerism because you're paying a high interest rate and things cost a lot. You're only making so much. So it's going to always run out. So it's like the little rat on the wheel. You just on the wheel. You're steady running. You don't see a way out because consumerism catches you. And as soon as one thing, you might pay that one off, consumerism says, now I got to go get the next thing. And when you acquire the next thing, you're back in that same cycle, and you never had the opportunity to start producing because we've only been taught to consume. Consume, consume, consume.
That's great points. And I was just thinking as you brothers were talking, and when we think about our history as a people, we have always pride ourselves on looking good, style, from ancient time into today, it has always been about that. And these companies know that as well. We were talking about this in our last show, how we're buying back, it's almost like we're buying back our culture. It's almost like we gave them, style, we gave them all this here. It's like we're buying it back, as a consumer. Well, we can be like you brother saying, we can be producers of our own style, and we can now, make money from that. But they have, came up with these patents and, these copyrights and all these type of things here, trademarks. So now they have gotten, our style and stuff, and they have trademarked a lot of this stuff. So now we can't do nothing but now become consumers and buy it back. And then they put influencers out there, and they put rappers out there, and they show us all these nice things that they know that we're accustomed to buying and want, and I think that also attracts that as well, and which also goes into creating that consumer culture as well. But no, great points. I think we have to become mindful of that and really consider that at the same time. But moving on, do we have any comments? Anything coming in? Okay. Did anybody comment on our question, the audience question of the day? No? All right. So if you're out there, that question should be there. It's our audience question of today. And let me remind myself of the question. So that question is, what's a realistic path to financial freedom in a consumer-driven culture? So that's a audience question. I want you guys to chime in on that. We want to talk about that a little bit. But we're going to go into our next question that came in. The next question here, going to go your way, Minister, is what practical first steps can families take to break the debt cycle?
That's an excellent question. I'm gonna give a very practical answer. It's a tough one, but it's easy to do, but it'll escape you if you don't. And if the first thing to do to break that cycle is make a budget and stick to it. Make a budget. Create a budget. Stick to that budget. Very practical, easy to do.
Right.
If you don't know how to make a budget, reach out to someone that can help you create a budget. Second, if you don't have one already, start a savings account. That's not for spending. Start a savings account. And then you should set a consistent time, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, to contribute to it. And part of that is you should set a goal. Preferably you want to put at least 10% of your money aside for savings. And then you should set a goal. I know most major ones, they say 3 to 6 months. If you're in debt and you're at zero, 6 months seem like a year. So I recommend if you really in debt, start saving. And then seek to put aside a month's worth of income. Build it up to 3. Let 6 months be a long-term goal. Your short-term goal need to be open up a savings account that you not go spend, and then start putting a percentage of your income into it and let it build. And then don't get into any new or bad debt. I'm going to say that. Don't get any new debt and don't get any bad debt. Now, debt can be good debt if you know how to manage it.
Right.
Because there's things called good debt, but we normally get the bad debt.
Right.
But don't get into any bad debt. So it's best not to get any new debt. And then you want to make a plan to eliminate or get out of your debt. Like when you owe something, it says in the scripture, I think it's Romans 13:8. I love that scripture. It says, owe no man anything but love. That's a beautiful thing. But what it's saying is you're not supposed to be in debt. The only thing that you should owe is love. But this society and our culture has taught us to owe everybody. So if you owe everybody, you're going against, if you believe in the Bible, you're going against the Bible telling you, owe no one but love. But if you owe everybody, that means you're not following that script. And then this gets long term, but you can definitely talk to somebody. You should begin investing your money so your money can work for you rather than you working for money. Because wealthy people, The people who have transitional wealth, they allow their money to work for them. We work for the money and give it all back to others. But the practical one is make a budget or save.
I was and I'm Ezekiel, I'm gonna let you go, but I want to look up the word budget. And one of the definitions is the total sum of money set aside needed for a purpose. I'll just say this here, the key word here is needed, and then it's for a purpose. The things that we need, like food, clothing, shelter, those are the things that we need. But when we're thinking about, going out and we become consumers, we get all the other things that we don't need. That's how we get into debt. But the key thing there is creating that budget. I like that.
And needs, very important.
Yeah.
Your budget should be for your needs.
Right.
Shouldn't be for your wants.
Right.
See, I can't eat well. I can't eat this.
Right.
Unless I'm gonna sell it and turn it into some money.
Right.
But groceries, that's a need.
Investor. Can you chime in on that?
I mean, that's the first step. The first step is for a family to sit down and look at a budget as far as how much do they make. If our household income monthly is $5,000, then we need to look at our expenses. We spending on $7,000, then we $2,000 in debt. So we need to figure out what we need as opposed to what we want. So we need to shave off at least $2,500 off of that bill. That way we can at least save $500. Because everybody that's working, and especially in the Black communities, we're church-going people. And our pastors, preachers, or deacons will tell us that, the great light, the Bible teaches that, hey, you need to pay 10%. And all of us know about tithes, and they have no problem paying their tithes. But what they're missing is paying themselves also, which is one of those precepts that the Yahweh taught us. Pay yourself. You the one that's working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Pay you first.
Right.
Just like when you get that check, the government then took their taxes out first. You next pay you. Okay, I worked this long, I'm gonna pay me 10%. If I made $100, I'm gonna pay me $10. And I'm gonna give my church $10. So now I only got $80 take home pay. Now with that $80, that's what my household got to divide up. I can't go spend another $120 and I only made $80. So that's the first step. Creating a budget, as the brother said, now beginning to save. But what is the purpose of saving? Am I stockpiling this money just so once I reach enough to go get that brand new car, I go get it? Or am I saving this money right here for a purpose that will begin to bring in that passive income? Am I going to save up to go, instead of spending that money on a car, I go buy me a duplex. I rent the duplex out. So now the people that's paying me in the duplex, I'm taking that money and just paying my own mortgage. And now the money that I'm making, I'm vacationing with that, right? Or I'm looking to invest that in something different to keep more money going to build up my portfolio so I have multiple apartments or duplexes or a house or whatever it is to where I can retire 20 years earlier now because now my money working for me. You said instead of me working for money. So you have to start with looking at your budget. You don't have a budget, go to ChatGPT. It'll show you how to make a budget. It'll show you exactly what you need to do. Then you have to have the willpower, the mental fortitude to stick to the budget. Because the budget says setting aside money for a purpose. Purpose by denotation is a goal that one sets for themselves to achieve. So what is your financial goal? What is the purpose of me saving this money? I know the purpose of me going to work is to pay my bills, to clothe myself, to feed myself, to shelter myself. But how do I want to do that? What level? Do I want to ride around in a bucket or do I want a luxury car? So it depends on how I budget now, today, that'll determine where I get that luxury car years, months down the line. So these are the first steps that families got to take. They got to be realistic about what we need in our house, not what we want. Because as we said, there's always a new want. Every month, when you turn on the TV, new products are being pushed, endorsed. So your wants gonna always outlast the money that you have. Bill Gates got more wants than he got money. And he got plenty of money. But he still got his businesses going so he can keep making money because he study want things. So we have to understand, focus on our needs first, then we'll move on to our wants by creating a logical budget and having dexterity to take.
And I just want to say this before we leave because it's so important. And the reason we don't like making a budget is because consumerism, it's been programmed into us. And consumerism says spend, spend, spend on what you want. It's a little voice in the back of your mind. When we hear the word budget, it'd be like, cut back on what I want.
Right.
And we've been programmed. So we be kicking and screaming. And the longer you procrastinate and don't make a budget, the more you continue to spend. And when you talked about the tithing, I just got to say, see, we as a people, we church-going people, we were taught to tithe. But unless you're in a very progressive church, and when I say progressive, one that's progressive about wealth for the members, tithing makes you complacent. I say it again, tithing makes you complacent because you feel I've already given that 10%. I've given that to God. I've given that to the Lord. So there's no need for me to give. You need that saving the same way. You actually need to be more serious about saving. If you're giving God first, that's great. But you can't it makes you complacent to say, I don't need to save. I don't need to put anything aside because I'm already doing two separate. That's a spiritual concept and an economic concept. So that if you're in the wrong kind of church, you're in that same consumerism because you will only pay tithing in church, but you won't save for it.
I think it goes great points. But how can I keep up with my neighbor? They just brought a brand new car and I'm on a budget. How can I keep up with them? I got to go out and do the same thing. They're going to think I don't have.
It's like a drug.
Man, mess this budget, man. I'm going to go out and get that same car they got so they can know I have too.
That's why the consumer culture is thriving. It's very, very real. You ain't take into account that your neighbor is a doctor. You're the garbage man.
Right.
You ain't take that into account. We on two different financial brackets.
It goes back to what the financial guru, Dave Ramsey say, live today like nobody else so you can live tomorrow like nobody else.
Yeah.
Like allow everybody to do what they do today. But you budget, you save your money. And see, tomorrow, when they have crash, you're going to be living the high life because you was responsible. All right, so we're going to go into this. I think we have two more questions. This next one is it's going to come my way. Is it possible to build wealth while in debt, or must we start over? Now, I did look up some stats on this here, but I do want to go through this here. So, when we ask whether it's possible to build wealth while in debt, especially in the Black community, the data gives us a clear answer of yes, it's possible. And it's already happening. Nearly 80% of U.S. households have some form of debt. 80% now have some form of debt, Yet millions still grow wealth through home ownership, retirement savings, and investing. In fact, the average American homeowner carries a mortgage for decades, but home equity remains the largest source of wealth for most families. And I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna say this here. when when I first bought my first brand new car, it was an Impala. You know, say I loved it. I liked it. It was all right.
You was balling.
But actually, when I went to the car lot, when they solicited me to go to the car lot, of course I needed to get rid of the vehicle that I was in currently. And they solicited me to go to the car lot. And I seen a lot of, pre-owned cars. Nice cars. I wanted the pre-owned cars, but they told me I could not get in a pre-owned car. I had to get a brand new car.
Wow.
It never dawned on me. It was just ridiculous. Like, why can't, this is less nicer, because I could have gotten probably a Toyota or maybe a Honda or something, but I'm in an Impala, Chevy Impala, which, soon I got that car. Of course, the value depreciated. I think half of the amount of that car. I think it was worth $12,000 once I purchased it and drove it off the lot. But when we think about wealth and can we accumulate wealth by being in debt? Now, I was in debt. I was in a whole lot of debt with that car. I don't think I would have ever got out of debt. But home ownership would allowed me to get out of that debt. When I purchased my first home, I had to pay all any debts that I had. And I paid all those debts off. So I had a car that had no payments or anything on there. I had some other stuff too that they made me pay off because of home ownership. So the question is it impossible to build wealth while in debt, or must we start over? No, it's possible to build wealth while you're in debt, but there's other forms that we can invest in, like retirement, home ownership, things that appreciate but not depreciate. But I say that, what you brothers think about that?
Yes, I think it's very possible because, as you said, most people are in some type of debt. If you super rich, you got some type of debt. And with that debt right there, you still thriving because you saving, you budgeting, and it eventually gets you out of debt. And you got this $50,000 car loan now, but if you're budgeting $500 a month extra, now, in years or whatever, you'll be able to get out of that debt right there, but you're still maintaining your lifestyle. You still got a roof over your head, still feeding your family. So you're still moving forward. You can get out of debt even though you're in that debt. You can start building up for generational wealth. This goes back to what we were just saying about creating a budget and having the discipline to stick to it. That's the primary focus. No matter how much debt you get, some people inherit debt. Some people make foolish decisions and get into debt because of the consumer mentality. But if I make a conscious decision today that, okay, I'm $100,000 or $200,000 in debt, what do I do to get out of it? Okay, I make a blueprint, because we know that nobody builds any type of architectural structure without a blueprint first. So I am the architect of my life. So I have to create a blueprint that will get me where I need to be. So if I want to live a particular lifestyle, I want to own my own home. I want to have the luxury Lambo. Okay, Lambo I got my eyes on costs $500,000. I make minimum wage. How am I going to make that a reality? Okay, once I pay off all my monthly debts of day-to-day living, I got $10 left over. Yeah, I'm taking $2 of that dollars, paying myself first, taking another $2, find something to invest in, and then I'm saving the other $6 just in savings. But I got it in the savings that's going to, reproduce out itself while it's sitting in savings. I'm getting compound interest in my savings. I ain't getting a saving account the way it's just sitting there doing nothing. I don't need lazy money, because I ain't being lazy making the money. I don't need my money just sitting there being lazy. I need my money to be growing and multiplying itself just the way I'm doing it weekly when I'm putting in the 40, 50 hours of work. So you just have to have a plan. You have to be farsighted enough to know that I have particular goals that I want to achieve in my life. And it's going to take this type of financial literacy to help me get there. I'm going to sit my family down and say, listen, that once a week movies is over with. We're going once a month now. The extra $200 we saving, or be going toward here. And we looking down the line. We're not living just for the here and now. We're propelling ourselves into the future. And this is how any rich people think in order to get generational wealth. Come out of that financial debt. Don't think because of where you at the moment, this is your new plot in life. No, this is your today plot in life. Tomorrow, you can get yourself out of that right there by taking the necessary steps. And as I said before, if you don't know how to do it, I don't see too many people in America without a phone. Hit up them AIs. The AIs will help you get your life on point.
It's all at your fingertips nowadays, but it's something that you said, yes, if you definitely need to start the day. Whether you in debt or not, you can still gain wealth while you're in debt. But understand the difference is something that you said is you got to understand assets versus debt, liabilities. You want to acquire some assets to grow your wealth. Like it's okay to get a car. If you live in Central Florida, until they change our transit system, you really need a vehicle to get around. We have public transportation, but I can tell you it is not efficient or sufficient. It's there, nothing like being in New York. So you need a car. Understand that, just be conscious that that car is a liability. Whereas the house that you bought, that's an asset and it's going to appreciate. So be conscious that I'm putting money in something that I know is not going to appreciate. I need to be putting more money into something that's going to grow. So yes, even though you're in debt, you might be in debt for that car or you in debt for that truck. It's a beautiful thing if that truck is an asset and it's making you money, you got to pay for it. But if it's good thing versus good debt versus bad debt, but understand it's about assets is going to appreciate. Consumers have a tendency of buying things that don't appreciate. Breaking the consumer mindset is being able to buy and invest in things that do appreciate.
That's it. All right, we got one more question. This is our last question that came in. And this is for everybody. How do we better teach financial literacy to the next generation?
That's simple. Let's start at home. As a parent, your first job is to educate your child. So if I'm teaching my child basic financial literacy, meaning I'm going to show them how money works. You know, we as Black people always say money don't grow on trees.
Right.
We understand that right there. But what does that mean? That means that you need some source of income, some type of job that will create some type of income, some type of business that will create some type of income. So whether you are an employee or employer, you're generating income. Now, sit down and you teach that child the basic household bill. You live somewhere, an apartment, house, condo, wherever, you're going to have lights, you're going to have water, you're going to have basic bills in order to sustain your lifestyle. And you show that child how to allocate a portion of that money toward those bills, since these are monthly bills. We got phone, we got internet. You know, everybody got basic 5 things: phone, internet, water, lights, mortgage, or rent. Everybody got that right there. But you can just start small with teaching them, this is why we put $10 up here, $10 here, $10 here. So this is why we only got X amount of money left. Even though we made on paper $100 a week, after we pay these 5 things, we only got $50 left. Now that $50 is must go, got to go to food. 5 of it got to go to gas. 3 of it got to go here. So you show them how to put each money into a particular category that will allow you to live a day-to-day basis. And then whatever the extra money is, you explain to them that, okay, we're taking these $2, putting it in savings. Putting this $2 right here, we're going to find something to invest in so that money can begin to make money. We have to begin to teach these precepts at home first, because the American education system ain't teaching. You can go to school and graduate and have no understanding of economics or how money moves in our world. So it starts with parents at home. The same way you teach your child to potty train your child, The same thing. Finance.
I totally agree with that. Education, it has to start at home. And once you start it at home, you would hope to reinforce it in the school. Like if your child is in the school system, it's something where part of being active with like the local school boards. It's like we need to be actually talking to the commissioners, mayors. They should put things back like home economics and balancing a checkbook. That should be a part of the high school curriculum. I have no idea how it got off, but it's like if they're not going to teach it in the schools, you need to teach it at home. Because if you ask most children now about balancing a checkbook, yeah, we know it's digital and you can go log into it. You can log into your bank account on your phone, but you should know how to balance a checkbook because it teaches you basic skills of how to manage your money. And like he was saying, that's home economics. Now, I can remember when that was taught in school, but it's no longer taught in the school. That's why consumerism has just taken over.
Yeah, and I think we just have to stop suffering in silence. We, like you said, we have to bring that home. We, as parents, we go out and we deal with the things of the world, and from minimum wage or whatever it may be, and then we come home and we have to deal with telling Ray, Mary, no to this, that, and the other thing because we don't have the funds to do it. Why don't we have the funds? Okay, let me show you why we don't have the funds. Because we're bringing in this amount of money. This is going here, like what you're saying. This is going towards utilities. You need those because when you come in from school, you need to be able to turn on a light. You need to be able to open up a refrigerator, be able to grab you some up out of there. That's what this pays for. Do you still want this here? Yes. Okay. Now the other thing is we need to pay the mortgage or we need to pay rent. This what gets us into this house, that we can come into this house and then also be able to benefit from the utilities and all this here. This is where this go. Guess how much we got left over? We got this much left over. Guess where they go to us? Food, clothing. So we don't have it. And I think if we start teaching that in the household, the children get a better grasp on what money is going, like what you're saying, and then how mama or how dad, if you're a single parent mother, if you're a single parent dad, these things, instead of you going out getting in debt, talk to your children. Help them understand why you can't get the same thing little Jimmy got over there. The Jimmy daddy, is an attorney. I work construction. Now, it don't mean I don't make no money. It just means I don't make the money that Jimmy daddy makes. He a doctor. So let's understand what we're bringing in and then how we're going to allocate that towards the things that we need. And then when we have opportunity to do things we want to do, like going to the movies, we'll do that. But we don't have it right now. So now the child is on a better understanding, not stressing their parents out because they go every day suffering in silence, trying to come up with ways, going into debt to make sure that they can get them what they want. So yeah, I agree with that. It has to start at home. We have to teach them, but not only teaching them about that, but understanding the inequalities that we deal with and that we have been dealing with in this country. We're behind the eight ball when it comes to wage gaps, disparities in loan asset, like getting a loan or what have you, generational wealth, predatory lending, targeting. So it's a lot of things, man, that we don't have the access to it. We don't have resources to get us, the better rates or what have you. So they need to understand this here so they can navigate through, and be able to avoid those pitfalls and those traps that are out there. Telling them about this here is going to help them now instead of them getting older and then they find out for themselves, like, man, why you ain't talk to me about this here? Maybe I could have avoided that, went another direction. So we have to be very mindful of that as parents, making sure that the children do know how finances are coming in and what they're paying for. And I know we got the transition. All right, so right now we do have to transition because we're a little bit after, but so we'll go to a quick commercial break and then we'll come back with some community news. Oh, we'll see what on my brother mind when we come back.
Because Scott and Associates always treats me like family, I refer my family to them. So when preparing for my taxes and I know exactly what to bring in coming in, it makes the process so much easier. Anyone should hire Scott and Associates because they are professional, respectful, and very knowledgeable. And with all of my heart, I can always count on them.
All right, so welcome back. This time, we shifting gears a little bit, shifting gears, and we're gonna find out what's on our brother Ezekiel mind. So what's going on, my brother?
Well, we're going to stick to this topic right here, talking about debt and our dollars. When we look at the end of the year in America, they have their three major holidays: Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And these three holidays generate almost 6 times as much income than all other holidays combined throughout the year. So we're back to you work all year, then towards the end of the year, you're spending an abundance of money. And in spending that money right there, it puts you in debt, because especially season that's coming up now, it's about giving gifts, which means since you're not the producer of those gifts, you're going out to buy some gifts.
Right.
And in buying these gifts right here, it puts you in debt the mass majority of time. And in doing that right there, you're back on that cycle, because now you're going to work the rest of the year to try to get out of the debt these last 3 months, then put you in. So the consumer culture that we're trying to get rid of is, as you just spoke about, if I can show my children my income and I can show them how much the expenses are, then it will make them tailor their taste to within the budget. So instead of getting the PS5 for $500, you're going to get the PS knockoff for $100.
Right.
Because it just is not in the budget. And I'm not finna get into debt trying to get that just to please you. Because now I'm creating a materialistic mentality towards you, in that no matter what materialism that you desire, by any means necessary, you're going to get it because you my child. No, you're going to have to develop that discipline, just like I'm going to have the discipline to tell you we can't afford that right now. I don't care if everybody else in the neighborhood got it. You're not going to have it, because this is where we at in life. So we're preserving the present so that we may live good in the future. But our problem in our communities is we reverse that because of the materialistic mindset. And we ball in the present so that we can fall in the future. And we're setting our next generations up to have that same mindset, and it's getting progressively worse each generation. So the debt factor in the average household, Black household in America, is almost 3 times greater today than it was in the 80s, 70s, even though we're making more money now. But the prices of everything and the cost of living is a lot higher than it was back then. And we're not taking that into account when we're making these materialistic purchases these days. And therefore the debt cycle continue to turn on its axis. And unless that parent instills a new wisdom in that child concerning financial economics, then they never get off that wheel. Debt. These companies know that. That's why they sell debt. That's why they advertise debt. That's why now they just sending you credit cards in the mail saying you've been pre-approved for more debt. Hoping that you, oh yes, this time I was wondering where I'm gonna get this other 25. They just sent me a $5,000 credit card. I'm gonna max this boy out. I got all year to pay it off. And then we're going back to not looking at the interest rate. That $5,000 just cost you $15,000 or $12,000. But you didn't care because you like to smile on your son's face or daughter's face when they unwrap those gifts. But inside, your heart breaking because you know you got to work another 6 hours every day just to try to make up for that over the next 7 months. So we have to be conscious that, hey, we're being targeted. Our dollars are being targeted. They want us to buy these products right here at exorbitant prices because we feel that we're keeping up with Jones. That's the mindset that we have to eradicate in our youth as parents, and down and giving our children the understanding of how money.
I mean, yeah, I was just looking at some data. They spending has went up this year compared to last year. So to your point, like it's going to get worse. I think it's highlighted more news, amongst those in entertainment, and ain't gonna say almost said the importance of spending, but the idea behind spending and wanting things, because once we see somebody with something we wanted, and we have to understand the difference between, like what you're saying, between want and need. And I think that's what we echoing right now. Difference between want and need. You may want this here, but do you need it? And I think especially when we're family oriented, when we have to think about the responsibility as a father, the responsibility as a mother to your child, then we have to make better decisions around our needs opposed to our wants. So definitely this is the time of year that we have to take that into consideration, because we oftentimes run out to get what we want, not what.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially this time of the year. I like to say it's like if you're celebrating, if you are Amazon, Target, the Walmart.
Hey, we celebrate.
You got a lot to celebrate.
I'm
this
telling
time of the year.
you. Hey,
But
you
if you-
celebrate.
If you're not them, it's like your celebration need to be cut back. Because part of what you're saying, it's like we talking about debt, and it's part of that was in there. It's like it's a mental thing, as it's like it affects your mental health, spiritual health. Because when you're in debt, and you, like you say, you working overtime and extra time, you're trying to figure out how to pay all these bills. I'm trying to get my son or my daughter this. It's stressful. And how do you deal with it? It's kind of like you spend, it's like a temporary, it's kind of like being on like a drug, and it's like people did when they having a problem and they stressing, they'll take drugs and they'll use alcohol because it's like it make them feel better.
Figure they stress.
And other people eat food. It's
Right.
like it's a stressor. Spending is the same thing. That's that consumerism. And even though you know you don't have it, you take that card out and you spend it anyway because it gives you some temporary, it's a temporary fix, but you really need to fix it. But that spending is like a high. And this time of the year, it's on steroids. And people use it because it temporarily makes you feel better, but it's not solving the debt. It's creating more debt. But in the short term, like it make you feel better.
Dealers, they called me, right? I like dealers. But they called me, like this special client, right? It's 'cause, hey, this is we're doing a 10% off everything. You can come into the store. We going and they close the store down for members. They come in and give 10%.
Make you feel special,
right? So I'm thinking to myself, like, I feel special. I need to go into that. And then my responsible hat kicked in, like, man, I don't need to spend no more money with nobody. I say, how much I probably would love to do that. My budget ain't set up like that. My what Kevin Hart said, my checking and my savings is not.
They're not gelling.
So it's like, I'm gonna pass on that one. But that's the enticement that we get in, a call, or we're gonna give it a discount or whatever the case may be. And Macy's the same way. They do the same thing to me. And it's like, listen, and I will say this here. I got stocks in these companies because I don't believe in spending my money nowhere unless I'm invested into it. And that's how I am. Like if I go to Sprouts, I'm invested in Sprout. If I go to Target, I'm invested in Target. I invest in the places that I go and shop so that I can say, like, this is my investment. I spend money here because I'm invested in it.
Give me some of my money back.
Give me some of my money back. Right. So that's my logic. That's how I think. That's how I feel. But but I have to also be responsible at the same time. So I ain't gonna let you just draw me into something knowing that I don't have the funds in place to manage that to spend it at this time. And I hear my music, so that means that we're coming to a close. So I will go clockwise. Ambassador, I'll let you start by closing out.
Well, I hope everybody got a clear understanding of debt culture and how to extricate yourself from that right there. Begin to apply that discipline and get on the road to wealth.
And I'm going to go back with that scripture. Remember, going into this season, into the new year, do your best to owe no man anything but love.
All right. And I'll just say this. Freedom isn't free, especially when your debt keeps you from dreaming. So just remember that as well. So I say from the host, peace and prosperity, and from Live Talk, we are out.
Thank you for watching Live Talk. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Talk Orlando. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit on the notification button so that you can see more videos like this. You want to join the show? Email us at livetalkorl@gmail.com. You can also follow the host on Facebook and Instagram at Author Yeremyah. And visit the website, thenoystore.com, to pick up your copy of The Spiritual Significance of a Name.